This podcast is not intended to and does not create a client-therapist relationship between the AllPro Mindset hosts, Jason Frabel or Dr. Aaron Sapio, and any other person. Although tips for incorporating mindfulness interventions into your daily life are offered, this podcast is not a group therapy session and is not intended to take the place of therapeutic intervention.
Hello, you are listening to Doc and Coach on AllPro Mindset, where we interview professionals, explore positive outlooks, and make connections to our own lives. Last episode, we spoke to Dr. Charles Carabassi with Carabassi Chiropractic in Marlton, and our theme was vitality. So we were talking about the physical and mental health connection. And I think about this often, like how can we implement these strategies into our own lives? And I was thinking about what are my own practices? How do I kind of incorporate this? And I've noticed that I've started to take walks in the middle of the workday. I have a job where I'm primarily sitting for a lot of my day. When students come in to talk to me, they often come in and sit down, and I'm sitting in my chair. And when they're not there, I'm on the computer typing reports or doing whatever else. So it's just so much sitting. And I got one of those Fitbits, they're so popular. Yeah. And what I think the most valuable thing about this little thing is that every hour to hour and a half, it buzzes and says move. And I'm like, that's fabulous for me because it's just that reminder that, oh yeah, I really should get up and move. And I would take a little walk around the building or, just walk around the main office, whatever it is, stretch, and then sit back down. And it is really refreshing. It kind of like rejuvenates me, gives me some new oxygen to my brain, and really gets me refocused on what it is I'm working on. So that has been definitely a small way that I have learned to take notice of my physical well-being while I'm at work. But I think a lot of people find themselves in sitting jobs, sitting behind computers. And I think that could be something small that other people could probably integrate as well. Just take that little walk every hour or so.
Yeah, I agree, Doc, that that's something that I implement in my own life at work, and that I found tremendously beneficial for myself. The day is constantly moving, and planned and unplanned things are occurring at all times. And when I hit noon, 12:30, I know it's time that something needs to happen. There needs to be a shift, and I will make it a point for myself to go outside and go somewhere for lunch. I do not stay in the building. I make it a strong point, a strong emphasis for myself to get outside and get outside of the building. That way, when I come back, I am rejuvenated and refreshed and feel just prepared and to handle whatever's going to come my way, for the remainder of the day. And that's something that I've been doing for several years now. And I think it's not only to my own personal benefit, but it's to the benefit of those that I have interactions with, for the remainder of the day. And, one interesting thing too that they've found, I know Jim Lohr, who has written the book, The Power of Full Engagement, what they did was they observed high-level athletes, world-class athletes, and they observed what they did throughout the course of their day. And what they found was that while they had periods of high interaction, high-level focus, that after those periods, they also had times of rest and recovery. And it was really, the emphasis was on more so how they were managing their energy throughout the course of their day. There's this kind of ebb and flow. Hey, I'm really focused. I have, a lot to get done. But I also recognize that the energy that I have is limited, and what I have to do is find points throughout the course of my day to refill. All right. Even if it's just a little bit, at various times throughout the course of the day, to manage that energy that I have and that ebb and flow that I have with my own personal well-being.
Absolutely. Definitely. So tonight we're talking about savoring. And just for an example, so many people often say time is going so fast. And they move through life without savoring their moments. And you feel like if you blink, it's all going to be gone. It's just going to be gone in an instant. And I remember when I was planning my wedding, people were often saying to me, be sure to take a moment at the wedding to remember and enjoy it. And for us, my husband and I did exactly that. Like we literally stopped and just looked around, looked at our guest, looked at our, listened to the band or the DJ and looked around at our decorations and just took a moment to savor that moment. And by doing that, you really kind of lengthen your time. Instead of life going so fast, slow it all down just by every now and again, take a moment to look around, to sniff and smell what's around you, to listen, to taste, and to really use all of your senses to become in touch with your moment so that you can savor that moment.
Yeah, Doc. One thing that just in listening to you and talking about the senses, taste comes to mind. About 3 or 4 months ago, I read a book called Gut, and it was talking about the digestive tract and what it is and how it's the second brain. But more so what I took away from it was this idea of me taking more time to, chew my food. But in the process of doing that, all right, for proper digestion, I noticed this heightened sense of the word I guess I'm looking for is taste, that I was enjoying the moment. I was really tasting the food. For whatever reason, and maybe this draws back to the time, wrestling, and it was just, hey, get down what you could, while you could, when you could. I don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
And when I'm eating meals or eating snacks or whatever it might be, in just taking the time to chew the food properly, you're actually tasting the food significantly more and have the opportunity to savor it much, much more. And that's what I found, just in that small adjustment in my own life through, taking the time to really, really enjoy that. And the byproduct of that is better digestion, better vitality. So there's this interplay of all of those components working together, in the moment.
Yeah, I think food often comes to mind when you talk about savoring, because it is such a specific sense that we're using all day long. And I think that when we can take the time, we also eat less. And that's also good for your overall well-being because you're not inhaling your food, so to speak. You're actually taking the time to chew and swallow so your digestion is better and you're savoring that taste, which is, I think, a perfect example of what we're talking about. Also, when it comes to thoughts, we tend to accidentally, but unintentionally savor the bad things more than we savor the good things. So how often do we have a bad interaction with somebody and you are grumbling about it for hours? You're in your car. They talk about road rage. You're in your car, you're driving, someone cuts you off. The anger that immediately builds up in you is like the blink of an eye. Right? And it causes people to do things like tailgate or yell at or honk at or flip them the finger or whatever else it is. And that is unintentionally savoring a really bad emotion. Instead of taking a deep breath, cleansing breath, letting it go, and moving on. If only we could savor the good things in our life the same way we savor those negative things.
Yeah, it would significantly impact, I think, the flow of our day. It comes back to intentionality and priming. What do we want to get out of our day? How much energy is invested into these experiences that we have, these micro moments, I call them, that come in and out of our lives throughout the course of our day, that we have the option and the intentionality to pick and choose what we want to focus on. And I know that we've spoken about meditation and how it allows us space between the thoughts to have a choice in them So that's the practicality of that piece, that component. But yeah, the savoring and allowing ourselves the opportunity to take those moments and really incorporate them and really use them to our benefit, versus taking those negative moments and that negative space and really just ridding ourselves of that as quickly as possible and moving on to the next piece and finding those things that make us feel good and want to do better, not only just for ourselves, but for other people.
Absolutely. And we can help other people savor their good news or their good moments also. There's a theory called active constructive responding, where when we typically hear someone say something really good, they share their good news with us. And what do we say in response? A lot of times we're just like, cool, awesome. And that's it.
Right.
But whereas if you ask something more, like, tell me more about that, or what was that like, or how did you feel, or do you want to do that again? You can help people savor their own good experience by asking more questions about it instead of just the closed, yeah, cool,
or we take that moment that they're in and we make it our own. Like, it prompts us to think about maybe something that we've experienced, and rather than continuing to be in that space that person's sharing with us and really get them to savor it and be with them, we move to our own space and say, oh, well, and I did this, or this happened to me, and we take it. It's, we take away a possible moment of sharing and savoring with that person by kind of taking it back, right? Whereas if we were asking questions and prompting them and really sitting in the space with them while they're sharing it, I think they have an enriching experience, and we do as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it becomes, this kind of unified thing, and we're both benefiting from it in the moment.
Definitely. And another example of that is compliments. How many times do we get a compliment and we deflect it? Someone says, oh, you look nice today. Oh, thanks. So do you. You look really good. Or you did that really well. And you're like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. I had a lot of help with doing this or that task. And we deflect it. And instead, in order to savor a compliment, there's 5 things you can do. So when someone compliments you, the first thing you can do is take a breath. The second thing is don't overthink it. Third, stay in your body. Let it sink in. And mentally say, I receive. Just receive the compliment that you're being given. I did this out loud today with someone this morning, and they laughed. It was very funny. But when I said, I receive. But it really illustrated a point that sometimes you just need to take that compliment. The other person is not typically complimenting you for any other reason than it just being a genuine compliment. So why can't we just genuinely accept it and be grateful for that, what they said, and be grateful for our own actions, and maybe reflect on ourselves to feel good about it?
Yeah, it's difficult for people to do, Doc. And including myself. I look at my my own well-being and interactions that I have with others, and someone might make a compliment, and I don't know why. But it's like this immediate response is to go back and say, well, you look great too, or whatever it might be, and I think our ability to do that, I don't know if it's the idea that we feel like maybe we're being selfish or somehow we're taking away from it, but to really fully receive that and accept it and to savor it is okay.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. And it makes that experience and that connection in the moment more genuine, I believe. And it allows us, when we provide compliments to others, to really kind of, and when we were talking about the active constructive, responding, when we're sending out a message to someone else, to really know that we're being authentic and that we're trying to connect with them in a way that one, makes them feel better and positive, but at the same time allows them to kind of savor the moment and allows that compliment to sink in and feel good. So, these are all things that when we talk about savoring and vitality, that we're trying to make these connections energy management and, looking at our day and how we move through our day and finding spaces throughout the course of our day to allow ourselves rejuvenation, to contribute to our vitality, and to also savor those moments, to know that it's not me being unproductive, it's me building myself and increasing my energy level to be able to move through the rest of my day or that next project or that next person or that next meeting in a way that allows me to be present, listening, understanding, and productive and efficient. So these are tools and things that we can apply in our own lives on a daily basis. It takes practice day in and day out, but with a little bit of awareness and a little bit of intentionality, we can certainly make big differences in our lives.
Absolutely. And the idea of having savoring as our topic tonight really evolved out of tonight's guest. Our guest tonight is Donna Fox of Jersey Girl Publications, and she wrote a book and built a brand based on savoring the positive aspects of her home state. So she was born and raised here in New Jersey, and Donna is a special education teacher of 17 years with a specialty in language arts who stepped away from her love of teaching to raise her son with all of that love. Donna's fond memories of the Jersey Shore, combined with her favorite pastime of reading to her son, inspired her to write Jersey Girl, which is a joyful combination of the past and the present. So welcome, Donna.
Thank you so much. I can't believe this is adorable. My little high school buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Erin, for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. And it's so exciting to see what you've done. So you've grown up here in New Jersey, and have you always had such a strong love for the state? And tell us about it.
Yes, I was born in North Jersey. I was raised in South Jersey. I went to college in Central Jersey, and then I settled in North Central here with my family. And the common thread throughout all of those moves was always spending our summers at the Jersey Shore. And so that was always the constant for all of us. No matter where we lived in the state, we always cycled back to our place at the shore, our favorite happy place. And when we weren't there, we were talking about our great times there. And so I was always settled on the fact that I just always wanted to stay in the state and be as close to the ocean as I could.
That's so nice. So where did the genesis of the Jersey Girl book come from?
The book came from, I loved teaching. I never thought I would leave. I never planned to be an author. It was one of those things where you're living in the moment and you're following your instinct and what happened. But I was teaching for 17 years, absolutely loved it, and never experienced something like what I thought I was going to experience. I was able to have a son after a long amount of time, and therefore I had to savor that and leave teaching to raise this child. It was a miracle, an absolute, complete, and total miracle. And so I left teaching and savored his life. And Jersey Girl just came out of about 4 years into his life. He was at preschool one day, and I was home having lunch. It was in March, and it was a cold day, and I was thinking about the shore, and all of my thoughts just came out into a piece of paper. I just was eating lunch, and I started to have all these thoughts about the shore. I grabbed my my grocery list piece of paper and just started writing it all, and it kind of stayed that way. It never really changed after that. It was that was my story, and it was how I wanted to explain to my son how much I always loved the shore and how I loved sharing it with him since he's been born. So I kind of combined my life and his life at the shore into this brief story. You know, it's 26 pages long. And so Jersey Girl Publications just then, I just quickly, came that name just came to me, that would be the name of my company. And I looked it up and saw that was not taken yet in New Jersey. And I formed an LLC, and it just kind of all just happened. It wasn't anything I ever planned, but all of it was about savoring and living the moment. And it's so appropriate that is your topic tonight, because that is kind of how all of the past happened, that I left one thing that I loved to go to another thing that I loved, and then I wound up doing something else that I loved, and I just followed it, and it wasn't all planned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome, Donna. We're so pleased to have you this evening.
Thank you so much.
I actually have a copy of Jersey Girl in my hand as we speak, and I'm looking through it, and I'm looking at the different illustrations and the pictures. I'm guessing some of these. Are most or all of these pictures you, the girl?
Yeah, that's my brother and I growing up at the shore.
Nice.
Yes, all the photographs are from the 70s. My brother and I growing up at the shore in Wildwood. Wildwood was our spot back then. So that was our family location for vacations, Wildwood Crest, and the Port Royal Hotel for years and years and years. And we're still going there today. My family, my brother's actually going this week, I think, with his family. My mom's going in September. I mean, we still go to the same place. So, so the tradition is still there, and the vintage photos are things that people can all relate to. And so, anybody who opens the book and sees these pictures, they say that was me on the rides in Wildwood, or that was. So that's what the photos they give that piece of memory to others. And then the artwork was filled in by an Ocean Grove artist who I love, who filled in the things that I described to her that I didn't have photos for. And then my mom did 3 of the oil paintings in the book. So she did that beautiful painting of Jersey Girl digging in the sand under the moon. I love that one.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So my mom did that one, and so thank you. And she's gifted, and this made her come out of not doing art for so long. And I said, would you want to add some pictures to this book? And she said yes. And she that was her first time painting in a long time, and she got exactly what I was saying. It was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
It's fantastic. I'm looking through it, and I'm looking at one picture in particular. There's you're crouched down and on the beach, and there are sand crabs. It looks like you're going to pick one up, and it's really it does spark a lot of memories. I spent a portion of my summer growing up down in Long Beach Island, and I have very fond memories of that. And as I'm coursing through this, it's certainly elicits a lot of memories of my own, and yeah, it's great. I and to this day, we still go to the same house that we've been going to for 25 years. So it's pretty cool. But
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's so one thing that I'm thinking, this idea of like nostalgia, right? And in nostalgia, we have strong thoughts and feelings and emotions about our past. I mean, was that really a component of what you had in mind when you put this together?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. It was a mixture of getting people to relate. Like, that's my favorite part. I love hearing the stories about other people. So you're a man, and you can still relate to Jersey Girl. I mean, I wrote it for my son, and my brother is in it, so I was hoping that that gentleman would also relate to it as well. But that's wonderful, because anybody who had this memory and shares it, we're all on the same plane, and it's so cool to have that exact same feeling when you look at it and talk about it. I love that feeling of nostalgia, and I also love the kind of the other piece to it is kind of calling people to experience this for themselves if they haven't already. So there's kind of like a twofold piece to it. But the nostalgia piece has been the most special piece. I love when I go to do a book signing and people come up to the table and they share all of their, oh, this was me growing up in Manasquan. And, I get it all. It's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love that. Everybody has exactly what you said, that same exact, if we're all from this area and we all have the same shore memories. And I just love that I was able to put it into words so that other people can kind of feel my heart. And so we can all relate. I love that.
And also, I mean, you touch on really the five senses in your story, and you talk, so you're not just talking about like, what is there to do when you go down the shore, but like just to notice and really be present in where you are. And I think even just that alone, regardless of where you are, I think that kind of transcends everyone. Like to just take that moment and smell what you're smelling and hear what you're hearing and touch what you're touching and really notice it.
Yes. The smell of barbecue, the feel of salt on her skin and sand between her toes, and anticipation of the nightly bike ride. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, you're right. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
You're cozy in a
it's beautiful.
sweatshirt. You're inhaling the beautiful salt air with the one-of-a-kind taste of Milky Way ice cream on the boardwalk at dusk. Isn't that the best feeling in the world when you just like got on the boardwalk at night and you have your little sweatshirt on and you're going to have ice cream and the air is just right. And, those are the best things of life. And I love that people can share that same memory with me and we all get it. And so at the end of the book, I have a page that says share your memories, and there's a blank spot for kids to draw their own memory if they take this home with them from the end of their summer at the shore, and they can draw their shore memories there. And then there's a place on my website that says share your beach memories, and people have gone on there and shared the most awesome stories. It's so cool.
That's great. That's really
It's
great
really
to build
awesome,
community that way.
I love it. It's something that just makes my heart really happy. I just love sharing a message about our state that we all get.
And I mean, and just in talking to you, you sound so full of gratitude and zest for life and appreciation and savoring.
Cool.
And where did all that start for you? Like, has that kind of always been there, or something that developed later in your life?
That is a good question. I think I've always been just one of those people that was like, oh my gosh, I have to capture this. I have to save this. I have to remember this. I can't really pinpoint the time. I think that from hardship comes more appreciation of things that are good. I think that if you had a hard time where you had a loss of a loved one or a health issue or a relationship issue, whatever it might be, and you struggled through a hard time, and then you're into a time that's good, that time that's good seems like super good because look what you just went through. That's how I look at it. Like, oh my gosh, now I was sick and now I'm feeling better. So now this is like super amazing meal, or this is like a super amazing night out, or whatever it is, that's just kind of how I look at life. And I think, maybe it does come from having a hard time here or there, so that, which we all have. Definitely.
Yeah, as you explain that, there was a question I was going to ask you in saying, is this approach to life, is this something that helps you manage through times of difficulty or struggle, which it sounds like it clearly is. I'm wondering if there was a particular moment or time that really was, I guess you were, I don't want to say sensitive or heightened, where you really could, it was pivotal. It kind of made you appreciate what you had.
Oh, there's probably so many. I can't even pinpoint a single one. I can just tell you that I know that Oprah suggested a gratitude journal years and years ago as a strategy. If you are going through a difficulty of any sort, like I had mentioned, the three that I could come to at the top of my head, my three biggest ones probably. And so you go to this journal before you go to sleep and you write down as many, she said like 3 or 5 or whatever, but you try to write as many things about the day that were good as you can before you go to sleep. So you go to bed with those positive thoughts in your head instead of perseverating on what was the challenge that you're trying to get through.
Yeah.
And so I did that through, difficult phases in life. I tangibly did that because I'm a writer and I always go to writing. Like that's my thing. So I did that. And then now I feel like I am just doing it every day because I used that as a strategy for so long during any difficult time that now I just do it naturally in my head. Like I'm thinking, oh, I'm stuck in traffic, but I'm really thankful that my air conditioning is working, or, like whatever the case may be, you're trying to come up with the thankful thing to debunk what's going on that's not so good.
Yeah.
And is that something that just happens? Is it something you consciously have to do, or now it's just automatic?
I feel like it's more automatic now than it used to be because when I learned that skill back when from Oprah years and years and years ago, that I had to concentrate on. I had to be like, oh my gosh, today was a rough day. I got to figure out 5 things to write down. I got to come up with something here. And some days it could be a challenge, but now I feel that I'm more, I just feel like it comes more naturally now to think of the good stuff.
Absolutely. I think that's a challenge for all of us. And I think it's a call to action to all of us is to like consciously pull up the things that are good when we're in moments of bad, so that over and over repetition, you do it again, it becomes muscle memory, it becomes automatic, and then that's your go-to response. Instead of these really negative thoughts, we now have created a go-to positive thought, and it's life-changing. It really is.
And you were developing a process. We talk about the process. So the journaling daily is prompting you to participate in a process day in and day out to really infuse that into your own life and savor or reflect on the good things, go to bed with them, and not focused on this kind of negativity or just things that might have gone poorly throughout the course of your day. But over time, you've moved into a space where now it's automatic. It's become who you are. You've habituated that thing, and it allows you, without necessarily having to put it down on paper, it allows you to kind of be in that mindset. And, for our listeners out there, that's something that we try to prompt them to do. There's this call to action. Hey, we're trying to create a new habit in our lives. Here is something that you can do to incorporate this into your own life to create a change, a small change, and how long does it take to reflect on something good? I mean,
exactly. It's so easy and it does work. I mean, it really does work.
Yeah.
I think it's a great strategy. It's a simple strategy. It doesn't take any effort, of any sort. It's something everybody can do. And I still have all those journals. I save everything like that. Very savory. I save everything. I still have all that. You never know what I'm going to need it for. Who knows?
Right. I mean, there could be another book lurking inside those pages.
Yes. No, don't you worry. We got things going on there. Yep. There's definitely some, I mean, I have future thoughts of that. Yeah. There's pieces of life that have to come out in more books, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you put all these thoughts and emotions in a book, like you did with Jersey Girl, and now you're doing book signings, and you're really touching so many people, and they're sharing their stories. What is that like for you, just as a person now, communicating with all these other people, and having these book signings and interacting with all these strangers? Like, what is that experience like?
Oh my gosh, I'm the only massive word, and it doesn't even cover it, is I'm so honored. Like, I cannot believe that, I cannot believe that anybody would be, that interested, it's just a stranger, because it is so lovely and wonderful when all of my friends and family want to buy my book, and believe me, I love them, and I'm thrilled that they love it and they love me and they want to support me. I love that. But when a stranger comes up and or wants to buy my book, or in a store, they tell me, we sold out. Can you send us another box? Or, that to me is like beyond honoring. I'm so honored that others are getting the story that my heart is just very happy. And then when I went to the library the other day, I started to donate the book to different libraries in my area, and I checked in on one the other day just to see, if it was on the shelf and where they had it in the library. And she goes, "Oh, it's been checked out already." And I was so happy that somebody is like, check my book out and is reading it at home. I just love that. It was like the cutest thing in the world. I love that, because now I'm not teaching anymore, that I can still reach children.
Yes.
I love that I can still have an influence there and share some great memories that maybe they can relate to or that they would like to have for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if just in sharing the book, parent and child, that, okay, yes, it's creating these memories and or prompting them to reflect on that. But as the parent is going through the book with the child, it's prompting them to through this nostalgia, right? And go to this place of like, wow, this savoring and reflecting and saying, this, what a great experience. That in some ways, and we talked about this, call to action, that I want to transfer that those experiences. And I had a really, I was watching the Game 6 of the NHL Stanley Cup, and I fell asleep and I woke up, and on the television there was an interview with Wayne Gretzky, considered the greatest hockey player that ever lived, and the interviewer asked him about hockey, since he had retired, and if there was anything that could replace hockey, and he said no, very directly and bluntly. However, what he did say is that living vicariously through children and through children, really, in creating these experiences, and really, this was several nights ago, and it drew me to this week and savoring, and I thought it's very interesting to hear that come from him. Right.
Yeah.
And this vicariousness. And I'm wondering, I used to think, living vicariously through somebody else, might be something maybe negative, but I'm not sure that it is. It's almost like you're journeying through together.
Yeah.
It's calling you to action, and you're getting to create these moments and these memories and these experiences with this other person that is enriching for them, but it's also enriching for me at the same time. And might be equal. I don't know. Did you have something like that in mind, or in creating the book?
Yes, I in my dedication I wrote to my son that that I see, through his life I've completed all of my dreams, because now, that I have him and he's my little miracle, and he is just doing my whole childhood. It is completing all of my dreams. He's following through on everything that I have done now, and I'm watching him go through it, and it's like double joy, because is it living vicariously through him, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching him do it, and it's just such an awesome experience. It really, that saying, it's cliche to live your life through a child's eyes or see life through a child's eyes, but if you really can try to do that, it is a really cool way to live life. It's a cool experience, and especially at the shore, they give you a lot of opportunities to do that, because there's a lot of carefree life there, and you can be more like a child when nobody's busy working and doing, regular routine of life kind of thing,
Right.
Yeah, it's like the savoring of those experiences are creating new experiences for not only our children, right, but for us as well. So we're not the same person, we're not the child anymore, but yet we get to create these moments where there is enjoyment in that moment and that experience for them and for us. And I think how profound is that, right? It's like threefold. I reflect, and there's nostalgia, and this is great, and I want to create these same experiences for someone else, and then I get to do it and enjoy it, and watching them and enjoy it myself. So it's not I'm not losing anything. I think it's enhanced, and I think everybody wins.
There's nothing better. Yeah.
And it's not manipulating the situation. It's not like, hey, I have to create this so I have a good time too. It's, you take so much joy in that experience, and watching them go through those experiences that might be enough, savoring that in and of itself.
Yeah. And then talking about it after, like all winter long, we're already, it's not winter anymore. We're heading into summer, and we're already talking about, I can't wait to get to the water park, or I can't wait to taste that ice cream, or, how long are we going to stay on the beach at night until it gets dark, or, how long is our bike ride going to be? What town should we ride to first? Or, that kind of stuff. And he's already talking about it because the memories from last year are there. Now we're going to build on them and go again. And we're kind of like repeat vacationers. Like some people like to try, vacation, like a new place all the time and stuff. We're not like that. I mean, some families do that, and I think that's awesome too. For us, we're kind of like, we have our traditions of, oh my gosh, we can't wait to do that again. It's been a year, and that kind of thing. And that's kind of what we do. But so he's so excited to go again.
Because then you create,
and I want to preserve that, preserve summer as long as we can. I read an article recently that said we only get 18 summers, and cherish them and live every moment of them. And I have as much as I can, and I can tell you it still goes so fast. It's been 6 years already, and this is our 6th summer together, and it just goes so fast. But I'm savoring it as much as a human can savor. I don't know how else to do it.
That's
but it does go super duper fast. And I'm trying not to. So those summers are so precious. I try not to sign us up for stuff, like that. I've thought that all this time. That's like my biggest thing. I don't believe in it. I believe that summer is summer, and it's sacred, and it's family time. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I'll try to look at it as long as I can that way. But I've preserved it like that this far, and I haven't signed up for stuff that would commit us to having to not enjoy that together.
Yeah, they say for those listeners out there and for parents in general, that by the time that our children are 18, that 93% of the time that we will have spent with them will have been through the age of 18, meaning after that point, the 7% is from that point forward. So it's like...
That's awful.
Oh my... That's harsh.
And
expecting that statistic to come out.
Well, I think the power in creating those memories is so important. And when we're reflecting on it, and it's not intended to be something negative, I think it's intended to say, hey, look, the time that we get is precious. And those moments when our children or we're spending it with somebody who means something to us in our lives, as they're growing up, is so profound that we, when we were creating those memories, that can endure, right? That it extends far beyond those 18 years, and allows them, as they go out and move on, to have that opportunity, those moments, right, to reflect on and then pass that on. So there is
and to want to do it themselves. Exactly. To want to do it themselves. That's the key. Yeah. You want them to still be like, oh my gosh, I have to still do this in the summer. I still want to do this. This is something I still love. I would love for that to happen, and I hope it does.
And that's the gift, and that's the gift that you're giving so many people, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so honored. Thank you.
So, Donna, thank you so much for being with us tonight. You've given us so much to think about, and we really appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. That was lovely.
All right. Well, have a great night. And listeners, we're going to take a break and listen to one of Donna's favorite songs.
I got no time for the corner boys down in the street making all that noise, or the girls out on the avenue. 'Cause tonight I wanna be with you. Tonight I'm gonna take that ride across the river to the Jersey side. Take my baby to the carnival, and I'll take her on all the rides. 'Cause down the shore everything's alright. You and your baby on a Saturday night. Now you know all my dreams come true when I'm walking down the street with you. Sing sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la, I'm in love with a Jersey girl. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la. You know she thrills me with all her charms when I'm wrapped up in my baby's arms. My little girl gives me everything. I know someday that she'll wear my ring. So don't bother me, man, I ain't got no time. I'm on my way to see that girl of mine. There's nothing matters in this whole wide world when you're in love with a Jersey girl. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, 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 sha-la-la, I'm in love with a Jersey girl. I see you on the street and you look so tired. Girl, I know that job you got leaves you so uninspired. When I come by to take you out to eat, you're lying all dressed up on the bed and baby fast asleep. We'll go in the bathroom, put your makeup on. We're gonna take that little brat of yours and drop her off at your mom's. I know a place where the dancing's free. Now baby, won't you come with me? 'Cause down the shore everything's alright. You and your baby
thank you so much for coming back. We just spoke with Donna Fox, the author of Jersey Girl with Jersey Girl Publications. And we just listened to a wonderful Bruce Springsteen song, Jersey Girl. And Donna had shared with me that her husband chose that song as their wedding song, even though he's from Pennsylvania. So that is just such a beautiful insight into this author and all of the heart that she has poured into this book. And really the beautiful family that has blossomed from her ability to savor the moments and savor life and move forward. Like her mom was involved in this book, and a friend was involved with the book, with the artistry, and even her husband supports her passions and recognizes the Jersey girl in her, which is just, it's wonderful and it's beautiful when you see that. And a lot of it, as we reflect back, she mentioned a pivotal moment being really Oprah challenging her and all of us to use a gratitude journal, and then just building on that and creating automatic thoughts for ourselves that are positive out of a repetition and a process of having gratitude for those around us and having gratitude for experiences and really savoring all those moments. So listeners, I just want to make sure we say, please visit Donna's website at jerseygirlpublications.com. You can order your book straight through that website. You can share your stories about your time at the Jersey Shore or anything else really that this book speaks to you, because it really does touch all of us in different ways.
Yeah, Doc. And she reflected on the gratitude journal. And again, we talk about process and creating habits that allow us to create higher quality, more meaning in our lives. And something as simplistic as writing down the things that we're grateful for at the end of our day, going to bed with something good in mind, I think is a call to action, right? Mm-hmm. How long does it take? 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes at the most. So, but something that can have such a profound effect. And it was pretty clear that it had a very significant impact in her own life, to the point to where she's able to do this now automatic. Her mindset allows her to go to that space automatically. And it was definitely as a result of a process and an understanding of what it means to really to look at moments and reflect on them and be grateful for them and to savor them.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that Donna said that really spoke to me was that she talked about intentionally not overcommitting this summer. Now, this is something that I did unintentionally last summer, where I signed up my kids for way too many things, and I signed myself up for way too many things. And all of a sudden I was committed to doing tasks instead of really enjoying free time. And, earlier in the show, we talked about rest and rejuvenation. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to be able to take time off in the summer, it is so important to use that time to rest and rejuvenate, have fun in a more spontaneous, unplanned way, so that we're not overcommitting our time to things and we're not overthinking everything that we do, but to consciously take a break from that so that you can rest and rejuvenate.
Yeah, Doc. And going into the summer, this is an opportunity for each of us to kind of look ahead and say, what types of experiences do I want to have? What do I want to create? Not just for myself, but for those around me, whether, our listeners have children or nieces and nephews or whomever it is that we have that interaction with throughout our summer. Because there are so many opportunities with barbecues and being outside and being out the shore and doing different things and vacationing where, maybe the magic happens in this vicariousness, right? Mm-hmm. Not just for me, but for us, and creating these opportunities for us to have. And therein might lie the joy and the savoring.
Absolutely.
And moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, being able to share time and share experiences. And I love the idea of like double joy. When you're experiencing something yourself or you're repeating an experience with someone else, even when you take your best friend to like a great concert that you may have been to before, or you take your best friend on a hike that maybe you've gone on before. It's double joy because you may have already done it, but now you're doing it again. So you're enjoying it. And now you're seeing that other partner you're with, you see their enjoyment of it. And so you almost get to see it through fresh eyes.
Yeah, you know, providing those opportunities, you know, I know for myself personally, you know, I'll be traveling to California this summer and have an opportunity to take my daughter and be with a significant other and take them through experiences that I've had. Mm-hmm. There are definitely planned opportunities that I'm extremely looking forward to for them to experience and say, right. Hey, you know, this is going to be pretty cool. You know, just you wait and see. You know, there's nothing like California until you've been there. And I know, like for myself personally, you know, I haven't been back, you know, with my daughter it's been, you know, 15 years. She was out when, you know, she was 3.5 and now she's all grown up.
It'll be a different experience.
It's going to be a much different experience. Yeah. And I think she'll appreciate maybe some of those memories that we had together,
right,
you know, long ago, but to create new ones at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, that's beautiful. And I think when you can share life with other people and you're looking at their facial expressions and like, oh, what are they looking at? And how are they reacting and responding? And it doubles the joy. Absolutely. So listeners, thank you so much for tuning into our show tonight. We hope that you found a takeaway from this episode and can take some moments to just savor the moment in your lives this week. Really take that time. Remember that show notes, including any information that we have and links to our guest website, can be found on our website at www.allpromindset.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, where we'll have links to the episodes on there as well at AllPro Mindset, and on Twitter at AllPro_Mindset. So we give gratitude tonight for our guest, Donna Fox and Jersey Girl Publications. We give gratitude to our producers at Wildfire Radio and Toxic Radio, and we give gratitude, of course, to our listeners. So thank you so much for being with us.
Next week, we will have Michelle Green on, a book author, pastor, and our reflection will be and topic will be self-compassion. So we're extremely excited to have her and really looking forward to that. So until next time, get out there and start living your life all in.